knockdown rule in effect, standing 8 count in effect. A standing 8 count is counted as a knockdown toward the 3 knockdown rule. There's referee Al Rothenberg, who gets ready to brief Pernell, Whitaker, and Alfredo Layne. Quick look at the tail of the tape on the 2 boxers. You will see that Layne is about 1.5 inches taller and has a slight reach advantage, but he is not nearly as athletic, doesn't move around the ring with the facility and the ease of Pernell Whitaker. Whitaker is also significantly younger at 22 years of age. Layne only slightly more experienced with 20 fights under his belt. And Alfredo Layne moves up, Alex, to fight for the first time in the 135-pound weight class.
Actually, he's a pound over that at 136, which is the heaviest that Alfredo has ever weighed. He says he feels more comfortable there. He feels more powerful. It remains to be seen whether he's more effective.
Alfredo Layne was the WBA junior lightweight champion, lost that title to Brian Mitchell of South Africa after having defeated Wilfredo Gomez to win it. And as you can see, and we remind you, Whitaker is a southpaw, jabs with the right hand, looks for power punching from the left, which was broken in March.
Layne says that the fact that Whitaker is a southpaw does not bother him. He says he's knocked out every southpaw he's faced in his professional career. I also don't think Alfredo will be bothered by the crowd. He fought Gomez in Puerto Rico when he won the title. He fought Mitchell in South Africa. I think the main thing that'll bother him will be Pernell Whitaker's ability.
Already you can see the degree to which Layne is a stationary target. Not a lot of movement. There should be plenty of opportunities for Whitaker to score if the timing is there.
Both fighters try body punches. I'll tell you something, Whitaker looks like he's rocking Layne with those left hands. Layne looks very unsteady on his feet right now.
This is all Whitaker, as he has begun to score heavily with the left.
I can tell you this also, Layne does have a great heart. He was hurt and almost out in the 3rd round of his fight with Gomez and came back to stop Gomez.
The 9th round stoppage in San Juan. Gomez, of course, is closer to the end than to the beginning of his career. Good left.
That left did not land. Whitaker throw 2 jabs, one to the right, one to the left. That's just working from the angles. That's just giving, not trying to land them, just trying to give Layne something to think about. And a good right to the body by Whitaker. Total lethargy thus far from Layne. He really hasn't tried to do anything either offensively or defensively.
Round 1 coming to a close, a round in which Whitaker has not been constrained to show much of the vaunted footwork as he has fired away at a stationary Alfredo Layne. Round 2 in the scope, I should say, in Norfolk, Virginia. Pernell Whitaker against Alfredo Layne. Round 1 was easily dominated by Whitaker. Pernell's wife, Rovanda Whitaker, mother of Pernell Whitaker Jr., looking on from ringside.
Whitaker scoring well. Layne not even trying to score.
Not showing much movement. In his previous bouts, Alex, he seemed to like to move forward. But here it is Whitaker who has maintained the initiative.
I'll tell you this about Alfredo Layne. He has to come forward to be effective. He cannot back up at all. Throughout his amateur career, Pernell Whitaker was a retreating counterpuncher. But when he turned professionally, he seemed to have made an almost instantaneous transition to being an aggressive, stay-at-home, stay-in-range kind of boxer. He doesn't have to move his feet a lot to move. He can move from the waist up and be very elusive, Pernell Whitaker.
Now you can see in this shot a chronic function of the southpaw versus right-handed fighter situation. The two fighters lead feet, constantly becoming entangled with each other. Whitaker has been stepping on Layne's lead foot throughout the first two rounds, as he is there.
Good left hand by Pernell. One thing Pernell has always done well is to keep his right foot outside his opponent's foot, so he stays away from his opponent's power. Backing Layne up onto the ropes. Right now, at this stage of the fight, Alfredo Layne just looks like a thoroughly shot fighter. He's just not doing anything. It's always interesting to see how a fighter responds to having been knocked out for the first time. Alfredo Layne was knocked out and losing his title, and right now he just isn't making any kind of a move to be in this fight at all.
And the first two rounds have been entirely the province of Pernell Whitaker. We return to round three in the scope. Pernell Whitaker, so far, an easy leader in the early two rounds against Alfredo Layne. Snapped Layne's head back with the left.
And a good snapping left. In his last two fights, Pernell has been pushing his punches a little bit. He has lost a snap, a jab in the left hand that you just saw, and again there with the left. Oh, Al Rothenberg almost caught a right hand from Pernell.
I thought he did catch it.
Yeah, he was trying to get in to warn Layne about holding behind the head.
You saw the score, incidentally, of the NFL game played earlier today. The New York Giants clinching the home field advantage through the playoffs in the National Football Conference with a 55-24 victory over Green Bay.
Layne again cautioned for holding behind the head. Right now, he's a fighter who needs to do something different.
Hard to imagine what Layne was thinking in the first two rounds. He appears to have entered this fight with no specific plan for fighting Pernell Whitaker.
He told us before the fight, you saw Whitaker complain about getting butted, and Rothenberg warned Layne. He came in saying his plan was just to go out and punch. He said he didn't respect Whitaker's punching power. He was just going to walk through and let his hands go. He just has not let his hands go to this point in the fight. And when he has, he's missed.
Whitaker not afraid to step into the corner and mix it with Layne. Who has demonstrated knockout power earlier in his career, but that was in a lower weight class. As is always the case when one of the main event stable of ex-Olympic fighters is boxing, some of the teammates looking on. That's Evander Holyfield in the shades. Mark Breland just to Holyfield's right. Shelley Finkel, co-manager of Whitaker and manager of Mark Breland, just edging into the left-hand side of the shot. And they're happy about what Pernell is doing.
I think once you go through that Olympic experience together, you remain very much a team, and that's true certainly for the 1984 team. There was a right hand by Layne that landed.
He begins to look a little quicker.
Al Rothenberg looked to me like that was his last caution. If he does it again, if Layne holds behind the head again, he's going to take a point away. Good left by Whitaker. He may not give him the chance.
Whitaker has landed 4 lefts flush on Alfredo Layne's face in the closing stages of this round. Well, the crowd in the scope, some of them Pernell Whitaker's fellow students at Norfolk State University very pleased by what they've seen in the first 3 rounds. Whitaker's bout with Alfredo Layne, I should say, as Pernell has looked alive and has won all 3 rounds easily.
If you're evaluating Whitaker's performance and trying to see if he's ready to step back into the lightweight contender picture, it's really difficult to say because the opposition is so mediocre right now. At the end of round 3, Layne did back Pernell up and landed some punches to the body, but at the end of the round, or right after the bell, Pernell spun off the ropes and showed that boxing ability that his trainers and he want so much.
It is to some degree a mark of how deep this division is as Al Rothenberg once again talks to Layne.
Oh, low blow.
Bad low blow.
Okay. All right.
Pernell is still hurt. You remember a countryman of Alfredo Layne, Eusebio Pedrosa, who was famous for taking everything the referee would give him. He would foul you in every way imaginable if the referee let him. It's going to be up to Al Rothenberg here with Layne to take some points away. There was another low blow and another warning. Rothenberg is going to have to step in very quickly here, take a point away from Layne, and threaten to disqualify him before Layne will stop.
It's also going to be important for Whitaker to maintain his concentration. You saw him there drop his hands to his sides and begin showboating. He is angry about the low blows, but he can't allow them to take him out of his plan, which was to box.
Well, that was a little bit of showboating, but it was also elusiveness. He did make Layne miss badly, lunge and lean with 2 punches. So even though he dropped his hands, it was still part of the plan. Layne was moving back from that left, took most of the impact away from it.
I was going to say it's a mark of how deep the division is to a certain degree that Whitaker is ranked number 13 by the WBC, unranked by the WBA, which only ranks 10, and ranked number 8 by the International Boxing Federation. He is not yet close to a title bout, as are some of his Olympic teammates. Saw the caginess of Whitaker there as he slipped 2 punches to land one of his own. Layne looking a little bit more alive in round 4, but Whitaker still in control. And finally, they are coaxed to their corner.
You saw the action there at the bell. Whitaker threw a punch a split second after the bell, and Layne retaliated well after the bell. It looks to me like Pernell Whitaker's mouth is bleeding.
Let him do Let him do the show, right? Now listen.
We stay here now between rounds as you are with Lou Duva, co-manager, and George Benton, the trainer, in Pernell Whitaker's corner.
And have your hands up to 9 now, so you're swinging from the gate now. Right?
Yeah, that's why I got my hands up.
They got to be up.
Now look, when you're close, use the uppercut there. Left uppercut. You'll hit it right, right?
That head.
Come on.
Now look, don't throw it from a distance. Get close when you throw it, right?
Tommy, take this out of here, Tommy.
Now, good left hand.
Hey, come on, hold him up there and bang to that ribs. Come on.
You heard Lou Duva say his parting words to Pernell were, bang him to the ribs. The parting words in the Layne corner were the very same thing. Work him downstairs. They both want body punching.
One of Pernell's shortcomings in his past 2 fights has been a tendency to try to load up the left hand, Alex. Is he beginning to creep back toward that tendency a little bit?
Well, I think Layne presents a little bit of an awkward. There's a low blow at Pernell, and he was warned by Rothenberg. Layne waves him in. Layne is just a difficult opponent for Pernell. He's easy to hit in the way, but he's awkward. He throws wild punches, winging punches, and Pernell just hasn't solved the problem yet. He solved it in the sense that he's winning all around. It's another low blow by Pernell.
We warn our local stations there will be a station break coming up immediately at the end of this round. Station break at the end of round 5.
But you are correct that he is not using the jab as much as I expected to see him do. He's not working behind it with the combination that were so much a part of his early professional career. Another low blow, and Layne fighting through the warning. Rothenberg has to take a point away at some point, and the sooner the better. Pernell lunging with the left and missing badly against an opponent that is not that difficult to target. His co-trainer Lou Duva watching. He likes the fact that Pernell's got his man pinned in the corners and scoring well here.
Mouthpiece out of Layne's mouth as Whitaker scored with a right inside that knocked it loose.
And then Pernell released his man and let him come back to the center of the ring.
We approach the midpoint of the fight. Pernell slipped to the canvas, and Whitaker, who was thoroughly in control, now begins to look a little bit more uncertain. We'll return with more of ABC's Wide World of Sports coverage of the 10-round lightweight bout here, right after this from our local stations.
Right away, Pete. Right over here. Come on.
You see how you let fly over there?
This is good stuff.
Go to work. Let fly.
Okay.
Because you got gas to burn. See? Just don't
Nice
miss.
press now. Come on, sit up there nice.
Just let fly. You understand? So you get on target. Every time you get close, let fly. You okay? Now that's her answer.
Okay.
Now that's what's going to do.
Okay. Pete, you're not slipping over on the side enough. You know, with your jab and your hook. Come on, baby.
I don't want to get cut.
No. You got to slip over on the side. That's all you have to do with this guy. Come on.
Jim Lampley with Alex Wallow live from the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. Pernell Whitaker against Alfredo Layne. 10-round lightweight fight. Whitaker was off to an easy start in rounds 1 and 2. And the awkward Alfredo Layne has bothered him to a certain degree with low blows in the 3 intervening rounds. Now we go to round 6.
I think you'd have to say that at this halfway point of the fight, Pernell has not yet resumed the slick style that marked his early pro career. He's still getting in trading wars here with Layne as he just did, standing straight in front of him. He has the superior hand speed. He has the superior boxing ability. He should be using that, working from side to side, not straight in front of his man. Having said that, we must say he's also winning every round thus far in our scorecard.
But to a certain degree, he's bringing himself down to Layne's level when it isn't absolutely necessary for him to do so.
Occasionally you see a jab or a left-handed like those two right there that are marks of the brilliance with which he built such a great reputation. But other times he's off balance and lunging and loading up too much. It's just a matter of getting the consistency. He has the tools. See, he made Layne miss easily there, but he had nothing coming back. He didn't counterpunch. made him miss, did not make him pay. Had his man on the rope there, had an opportunity to score, instead got tied up, and then missed that lunging right hook to the body.
Layne is landing punches with more frequency now. It is still not at all difficult for Whitaker to land, but these may not be precisely the punches that his corner would most like to see him throw. Nevertheless, Whitaker continues to control the bout as we come to the end of round 6. Round 7 in Norfolk. We remind you that we'll be returning to Indianapolis for the continuation of America on Ice, including a special tribute to the 1961 United States figure skating team a little later. But now, Pernell Whitaker tries to pick up the pace against Alfredo Layne.
George Benton told Pernell between rounds, this round, fight him on the inside, work him to the body, and Pernell is trying to do exactly that.
Watch the head. Watch the head.
But if he's going to stay there, he's got to let his hands go. He can't just sit there and not punch. There he is. Layne right now is giving him the body, and Pernell should be taking it.
Crowd trying to pick Whitaker up.
Layne not punching back at all. Whitaker's not landing everything, but right now it's just target practice. It's possible Layne is playing possum, but he's absorbing a lot of punishment while he's doing that.
He has certainly fought a curious fight.
You must remember again, this is Layne's first fight as a full-fledged lightweight. You have to get used to the difference in your reflexes, the difference in your opponent's power at this weight, the difference in your own power and speed.
Blood now trickling from the lips of Alfredo Layne as Whitaker is having a big round in round 7. Those punches have no sting from Layne. He is offering only token resistance at this point. But Pernell has slowed down.
Again, Pernell is not doing what he should be doing. That is, score his punches and then get out of there. There's no reason to stand in there and trade with his man. There, good two-punch combination. Made his man miss, made him miss again. Now come back with punches. That's it.
Al Rothenberg looking closely. Layne does not appear groggy. Just doesn't seem to have a lot of initiative. So round 7 has reestablished this as clearly Whitaker's fight. We begin round 8 in Norfolk. In the yellow trunks, that is Pernell Whitaker. In the striped trunks, Alfredo Layne. Whitaker, on at least one unofficial scorecard, has won all 7 previous rounds. In 10 previous professional fights, Whitaker has 6 knockouts, but each of his last 3 victories have been route-going decisions.
Alfredo Layne continues to fight a curiously passive fight. I just don't understand what he's thinking about. He knows he has to go to knockout at this point to win the fight. And yet he's not letting his hands go. He's just sitting there taking punches.
Incidentally, the least surprising good news for Whitaker fans is that he is not at all afraid to to throw that left, as you've seen hundreds of times today. So clearly there are no remaining after effects from the broken hand. Target practice as Layne is not guarding his face.
Al Rothenberg warning Pernell about the showboating move. Layne with his left hand almost down by his knee. He has never been in this fight, Alfredo Layne. He just never got started. He has no rhythm. He just is offering nothing. But I can assure you that the corner of Pernell Whitaker did not like it. And I think that might be a little bit of Pernell's frustration. He has not been able to do everything he wanted to do in the ring. He wants to be impressive. He wants to be sensational. He wants to be dazzling. And right now, that move that you just saw is all that's left to it.
And you have to assume that barring a miracle knockout by Alfredo Layne, Whitaker has wrapped up the fight on all three judges' cards. So we'll see what happens in 2 more rounds. Round 9 begins. Here is what Lou Duva said to Pernell Whitaker between rounds.
Start using that jab, right, and go to those ribs. Come on, baby. All right? Get slick on the side. I'm saying, but go away from his right hand and get slick, okay? He's leaning right in. You can't do that.
Alex, to the degree that there are questions now about Whitaker's progress, they are the result of his last 2 fights against Rafael Williams and Rafael Gandaria. Is this a significant step forward for him?
Well, if it's a step forward, it's a very small step, I think. He has taken on an awkward opponent, but an opponent who really didn't offer too much in opposition. He has not lost a round, in my opinion, as he only lost 1 round against Williams and Gandaria. But I don't think he has yet recaptured the form that he had before his 2 injuries. As you saw right there, missing badly with 2 punches.
Allowing himself to get off balance, lunging. Making a variety of errors which you just don't associate with the kind of brilliance he showed as an amateur.
And errors that he can get away with an Alfredo Layne, who isn't doing anything in his opposition, but he won't get away with when he steps up. He won't get away with this kind of form when he steps up to fight the true world-class fighters in the lightweight division.
I'd like to alert our local stations along the line that at the end of this round, we'll be taking a station break. Another station break coming up at the end of this round.
I want to make one other thing clear. It's not, to me, disappointing that he hasn't knocked out Layne. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Because Pernell Whitaker is not a knockout fighter. He can take a man out when he has him hurt, or he showed the ability to do previously in his career, but he doesn't go looking for a knockout, or has not previously in his career. It's just that the effectiveness of the combinations are not there. The crispness, there was a jab that you saw that showed what I'm talking about, but then he comes in and he's pity-patting, he's pushing his punches.
He got away with holding Layne with the right while he threw a left. Rothenberg apparently didn't see it. This is still all Whitaker as Layne plods around the ring, occasionally throwing a wild punch. But otherwise, not really being competitive. Good left by Whitaker.
We must give credit for one thing to Alfredo Layne. He does have heart, in the sense, not fighting heart in the sense he's offering resistance, but heart in the sense that he is standing in there and taking this beating.
Very much the way Rafael Williams and Rafael Gandaria did in Whitaker's 2 previous victories. Station break coming up now.
Okay, baby, you got the last one. To your lip zone. I'm going to catch
off now, Whitaker. No cheap shot.
Okay.
Don't clown this one. I'm doing a good show, but don't clown.
In here. Out of there.
Don't run into nothing. Win the round big. I want you to give him a big finish. You understand?
Drink that.
Let me know when 30 seconds. You're
going to hear me?
No.
Okay. You're going to hear me hollering Norfolk. You hear?
That's 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Going to be Norfolk, baby.
Last round. The first half of the round, I want you to use plenty jab.
Nice deep breath. Come on.
Feel him in the body, right?
This is it now.
Don't let him get near you. You understand?
Give me those circles, baby. Give me those circles. Come on.
Plenty jabs and seal him in that body, right?
All right, come on. Hold up those hands. Norfolk, when you turn it on. Excuse me. Hey, hold those hands up, Pete. Hold those hands up.
The 10th and final round in the Norfolk scope between Norfolk's own Pernell Sweetpea Whitaker in the gold trunks and the man in the striped trunks, Alfredo Layne of Panama. Here again, between rounds in Whitaker's corner.
Norfolk, you hear?
That's 30 seconds.
30 seconds, gonna be Norfolk, baby.
Last round. The first half of the round, I want you to use plenty jab.
Nice deep breath. Come on.
Seal him in the body, right?
This is it now.
Don't let him get near you. You understand?
You just saw something happen during that soundbite. When Whitaker went down, his gloves touched the floor. Williams reacted thinking he scored a knockdown. And any time a fight, anything other than the soles of a fighter's feet touch the floor, it should be a knockdown. I meant to say Layne. I said Williams.
Freudian slip because Raphael Williams is the one man who did knock Pernell Whitaker down in the 4th round of their fight.
And is a countryman of Alfredo Layne's. Al Rothenberg did not call it a knockdown. He just pressed off Pernell Whitaker's gloves and had them continue.
So you know now that Whitaker wants to put on a big rally in the last 30 seconds for his hometown friends and fans here in Norfolk. Layne, we must assume, is aware that he is well behind in points and would need a knockout to win the fight.
Final minute of the fight, and there's just the sameness to the action throughout not only this round, but the fight itself. Whitaker dominating with the jab, with the left, occasionally with body punches, but missing more than he'd like to. And Layne just not offering any real opposition.
Will this do anything to improve Whitaker's status in the lightweight division?
I think that Pernell will improve his status slightly off of this. He will not resume his reputation as a can't-miss champion. He has to show more than this, and it's entirely possible with a couple more fights that he will. But I don't think he's shown anything in this fight that's going to strike fear in the hearts of the 3 champions.
Nevertheless, he may have won all 10 rounds against an experienced and highly unconventional opponent. And now Whitaker showboats as the fight comes to a close. And we'll be back with the decision in the Whitaker-Layne fight right after this. Weight bout, the 11th of 1984 Olympic lightweight gold medalist Pernell Whitaker's professional career.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner by a unanimous decision. Judge number 1 scores 100-92. Judge number 2 scores 100-90. And judge number 3 scores 99-91. The winner by a unanimous decision and still unbeaten, Pernell.
So only one of the 3 judges went so far as to give Layne a round in the fight. One judge accorded Layne a victory in the 8th round. And now Alex Wallow goes to talk to Pernell Whitaker.
Reaction to your performance. Over here 1 second, please. Give me your reaction to your performance.
Oh, that was a hell of a performance for me. I mean, I did everything I wanted to do. I heard him, I boxed tremendously, and I showed good defense.
Let me tell you my reaction. I thought it showed an improvement, but I thought you still were not as sharp as you would like to be, and not as slick as Lou wanted you to be for this fight.
I wanted to be slick, but Al, I was concerned about his head. Look at the tape, and you'll see the way he keeps bending over with his head. 4 fights he fought. The last 4 fights I seen him fight, he got disqualified in 2 fights.